Hey everybody, we're back. We're continuing with our series on how to complete the ultimate persona template. And just as a reminder, if you want to understand your customer's psychology, which you do, you're going to need a way to access that customer, and it's usually through what companies do is fill out personas or avatars. People have different name for them: buyer personas or buyer avatars or buyer profiles. Those all mean the same thing, so don't worry about them being different things. And it's really just a vehicle or a tool or a framework that gets you into understanding all of the things that you need to know about your customer. Now remember, one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you fill out your ultimate customer persona is you're going to want to have in mind who is your ideal customer, client, or prospect, right? Why try to get to know a non-ideal customer prospect? Those aren't the people you want. You want an ideal one. So what you've got to do before you come to this is you really want to be thinking about who is your ideal prospect. And if you don't already have one in your roster, like one that's not already paying you or hasn't paid you in the past, I want you to think about who's out there in your competitor set, or who might be the category king that has your ideal customer, and just use them as the profile, right? What I mostly want to make sure is that you start in the right place. So the other thing, big, huge reason that you want to do this is that the real difference in companies that are wildly successful and those that struggle are the ones that understand that their company success completely hinges on them serving their customer, right? The name of the game is serve your customer, or what I say all the time is help your hero. I'm a hero whisperer. Let me see if I can show you. Hero whisperer, right? That's what we're here to do. You have to get to know your hero. Your client, your prospect, your customer is your hero. And in order for you to actually serve them the best way possible, you need to understand who they are, their background, et cetera, et cetera. So without further ado, let's go to the ultimate customer persona template. And I want to walk you through all of the pieces of it so that you understand when you're filling it out, just all the little particularities of what you want to do. All right, so let's, and we're just going to brainstorm, right? The other thing that I want to remind you of is we're using as just sort of a vehicle, just food for dogs. This is a company I have no affiliation with. I just used, like, they actually make the dog food for my dog, Benito, because he has tummy issues. So we had to start, we ended up going and doing a lot of research to figure out, how can we help our little doggy? And you're going to see why having some of these anecdotes and having some of these specifics about your customer, like having customer stories, is really going to help you zero in on this stuff. So let me share my screen and let's do it. Okay, share. And then here we go. All right, so on come the glasses so I can see. Okay, now I've got my orange ones on today. So first thing I want to share with you, this has nothing to do with anything except it's a cool little tool. I found this poking around yesterday. It's called HiPDF. It's a free online PDF editor. When you download your ultimate persona template at personatemplate.com, free, just go download it. You're going to get this really nice packaged up PDF, right? What you can then do, I actually, when I fill these out the first time, I always do it by hand. I do it with a pen because I want to get my ideas down. I don't want to be overly precious about how I fill this stuff out. But when you want to make it pretty, if you're going to use this template to present it or to keep as your document, you're going to want to edit your PDF. And this is one way you can do it. And the reason I like this HiPDF is it lets you pull in images and text, etc., on top of your PDF. I'm not going to do all of that now, but I did want to at least show you one of the most important things that you can do that not everybody does is go find a visual representation of your persona. So I went and found a picture online. I think this was from one of the zillions of free photo sites on the internet. But but I was like, I want to always bear in mind who I'm talking to, and I want this picture to give me a way into understanding my my ultimate prospect. So I pulled down this picture, and I happened to call this nice lady here Dina. I named her Dina because Dina starts with a D, and this is all about just food for dogs. And Dina's a doggy lover, so she could be like Dina Doggy Lover. And her dog's name is Rufus. And again, I want to be really specific about this, even though I'm going to be targeting people that are broader than Dina alone. I want to be specific. So if I'm thinking about Dina and looking here, and I wanted to fill out some of her background. Hey, by the way, if you guys are listening to this on a recording only on podcast, I'm going to walk you through 100% of this like audibly. So don't worry that you're not looking at the screen right now. You don't need to see it. What's most important is that you understand all the elements. So the first thing you want to do is you want to give your persona a name, and you want to get a picture of him or her that is representative of who you actually might be targeting, right? So if I pulled down a picture of a nice looking lady with her Dalmatian that she loves. And if I think about her background, you know, she's about 32 years old. She obviously has a Dalmatian. This is, you know, kind of a medium-sized dog. She works in a media company in ad sales by day. So she's got sort of like the 9-to-5 job where her dog is at home during the day. Nobody actually walks the dog. He can kind of keep himself not having little potty accidents during the day as long as his tummy is okay. But one big part of her background is he has tummy issues right now. He's developed these over the last few months. And she's really concerned about her dog. Her salary is about $70,000 a year. So she's, you know, a good kind of, you know, medium income. And what else do we want to know about her life? And she's single, right? So Dina is single. She has her dog Rufus, who's a medium-sized dog. The dog stays home most of the day while she works. She's got a $70,000 income. So she can, you know, she really cares about her dog. Her dog is her best companion at home. That right there already tells me a few places that I can go and think about that I'm going to capture later when I need to target her. The next thing I like to do is I actually like to get a quote. Now, one of the things I do to find quotes is I explained in the last podcast that I like evidence-based personas or avatars. Meaning I like to actually reach into the internet, because the internet has everything. I like to reach into the internet and pull out real anecdotes and real data. So what I would normally do here is I would probably go to a couple of pet forums. I would look at people that have been maybe complaining that they have a dog that's got some tummy issues. And I would pull out a real quote from a forum that might say, so if I had to make that up right now, and I've been in these forums, let me tell you, because of my little dog Benito that's had problems, is there's people like, I've had him tested for everything. I've tried everything. You know, does grain-free food work? You know, I just want him to be okay and feel better. You want to pull out a quote that sort of really gets to what the problem is, what the pain is, and gives a sense of her point of view. If you think about that, like, I've tried everything. I've had him tested for everything. He's been tested for Giardia 3 times. You know, I just want him to feel better. In that quote that you're going to pull out of the internet for real, you're going to get a lot of information, which means she spent some money already trying to make her dog better. She's committed to his wellness. Like, she just wants an answer. That gives us a lot of her psychology. Now I'm going to switch over to the next thing is I want to know is how many people are there out there like Dina, right? So the next thing I might look at is how many, I'd first try to figure out, I go to Google for a lot of this stuff. I'd go to Google and find out, well, how many dog owners are there in the US, or whatever your company's geographical footprint is. How many are there, right? Then I'd probably try to go deeper and find out, well, how many dogs are actually on a special diet, or how many dogs have at least one tummy issue, you know, in any given year. But I would look for data about how big this market is. Another reason that you're going to do this is just the very process of going through the research. This is research-based or evidence-based, gives you all sorts of information. By the very act of finding the answers to these questions, you are going to find little pockets of people that you can target all over the place. It's so important. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to understand a few more things about her psychology and what's going to be necessary for her to be a good client, right? So I've got sort of my version of the DISC assessment. It's a talent, it's an assessment thing that I'm not going to get into right now, but I want to know, how decisive is she? How influential is she in this given situation? How steady is she, and how cautious is she? These are all kind of like varying degrees of buyer psychology. Decisive meaning, like, is she going to waffle over and over again? Like, should I look for another food? Or if she thinks that something's going to work, is she going to be really decisive about it? My guess right now for Dina is that, remember the quote that we pulled a minute ago? I think she's feeling a little bit more indecisive than decisive. Why? Because she has tried so many things already. So if I know that she's sort of indecisive, I know that when I target her later, that I'm going to need to give her real, clear reasons and justifications for her to be able to be decisive. That's why we want to know this stuff. How influential is she? I basically have this on here because different buyers, let's say you're not in retail, or you're not in a consumer, you have a B2B business, and you're actually going after a very big high ticket sale at a company. Well, you're going to want to know if you're talking to the influencer versus the decision maker. In this case, she's the decision maker. So she would be, you know, she would be low on the influential scale. She can make the decision. If I were targeting vets, I would put them very high on the influential scale, right? So if I had Just for Dogs, and I was actually going to try to get vets to start promoting my product, and instead of Dina with her dog, I was targeting, you know, Dr. Doggy, I would put them very high on the influential scale. Steady is what I want to know is she consistent or is she erratic, right? Well, Dina is actually a fairly consistent person. Like she's not all over the place. She's certainly not going to leave Rufus, you know, for a whole long day while she parties it up at night. You know, she's fairly routine and she's consistent in what she does. But what I also know is that this little problem that she's had with her dog has kind of thrown her into a little bit of upset. And cautious, again, I'm going to put her about on the mid scale on cautious, because I think that she's a little cautious in terms of who to believe now, because she hasn't been able to get an answer about her dog. The next section I have is really about what key skills is she going to need as pertains to your product or your service. And so in this situation, the skills could be that she is consistent. If she's starting a new diet, she's going to have to do it very consistently to know if it really is going to make a difference for her dog, right? She's going to have to be fairly detail oriented. She might be needing to look like what's happening in the environment. You know, is there something new that's happening in the diet, or is one thing affecting him badly or not? But she might need to be detail oriented. She might need to be open-minded. Who knows? You know, basically, if you get this type of dog, you're switching your dog to human food, actually, which if you read a lot of the dog food literature, they're actually telling you not to use human food, that their stuff is perfectly balanced. So she's got to be open enough to try to figure out what she wants to do. Those might be an example of a couple of skills. I'm just going to cover like the first section today. I'm going to finish everything else tomorrow, by the way. I know I'm getting a little technical, so I don't want it to get tedious. You're going to be spending, by the way, because you're going to be looking on Google and finding some research, you're going to probably be spending a couple hours through this whole exercise, but it is going to be the best couple of hours that you ever spend, because you're going to understand your ideal prospect in a way that you never have before. So the four last things that you're going to be taking a look at is, what are her goals, right? Basically, what is she trying to get done? What she's trying to get done is she's not trying to find a better dog food. What she's trying to get done is she's trying to get rid of the tummy issues that Rufus is having, because she feels bad for Rufus. She's also concerned that maybe Rufus is going to have an accident in her apartment because he's not feeling so good while she's at work. What are her motivations? So there's goals, but then what are the motivations behind those goals? Well, again, she really loves Rufus and she doesn't want him to feel badly, right? She wants him, she worries over him. And so her motivations are really, it's really love and care and wanting the best for her companion, right? So, I mean, I want you to get a little bit more into emotions, not just kind of like, you know, what are the outcomes of your product? What are her frustrations? Well, her frustrations right now is that she's tried a lot of stuff. And another frustration that she probably has is she's getting a lot of conflicting advice. A lot of conflicting advice. So I want you to go through, read the forums, go online, see what your customer is out there. I guarantee you, you need to see what they're saying. And so you'll list out her frustrations and hopefully they'll be real. They'll actually come from evidence. And the final thing is, what are her needs? Okay. Now, what I want you to think about when you think about her needs, these are nuanced. They may seem the same, right? Goals and motivations aren't exactly the same. Frustrations and needs aren't exactly the same. Her needs is like, what is it really that she needs to move towards? And what does she need to move away from? Her needs really are to move towards a sense of certainty that she's going to try something that is going to make her dog better. Her needs are for more stability, right? She's looking for stability because she doesn't want her dog to be sick. Her needs might be that, you know, she's just looking for, you know, right answers and clear information. She might be needing some sort of guarantee or something like that. But so these are the types of things that I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. And again, for those of you listening, no need to go find the video. I basically walked you through the first part. But what you can see, hopefully, is just by answering these questions, and most importantly, don't make it up, right? Oops. The glasses can come off now. Just by going through this ultimate persona and looking for true answers that are on the internet from your actual target customer, you're going to find a lot of information. You're going to get into her psychology. And what that's going to do is that's going to give you an unbelievable amount of empathy for your target prospect. When you get that, when you start to really empathize with them and you put yourself in the situation, I am just here to help you. I believe I can help you. This is how I'm going to help you. Magical things are going to start happening. I'm going to continue tomorrow with the last part. So we covered a lot today, which was really kind of understanding Dina, our ultimate ideal customer. Tomorrow, some of the parts I'm going to cover about the ultimate persona, which is awesome, is now, once we've understood her, where can we go find her? Where are the congregations of Dinas out there that we're actually going to go and be able to put our message into and market to? So that's what I have for you today. And I will see you tomorrow or the next time, whatever that happens to be for you.